Hello, everybody, and welcome into a Monday edition of the Computer America Show. Hope all of you had a wonderful 4th of July holiday weekend. Ben, you had a good time, right?
Wasn't bad.
Wasn't bad. We had the family up here. It was a lot of fun, um, and so we have a wonderful show planned for you tonight, and obviously for the rest of the week too. Hopefully, all of you got your weekly email newsletter, the show reminder, so you know who's going to be on the show for this week. Tomorrow is Gamer Tuesday, so looking forward to that with Grayson Hamilton. In this show, we're going to kind of focus on 3D printing and talking about some of the newest, one of the newest 3D printers to hit the scene.
4 minutes until showtime.
That is not only faster, but also a lot more affordable. Something that you and I can afford. So we're going to be talking to Kudo3D with one of the co-founders, Jonathan Chung, who is on the phone with us as we speak. And then in hour two, we're going to talk to DK Design. The gentleman is named Denise Karashahan, and he is the founder of DK Design. They've come up with a way of using 3D printers to create osteoid medical casts instead of those traditional plaster casts. This is a 3D printed cast, like for your arm or something, that actually promotes healing. It's an amazing accomplishment in medical and as well as 3D printing. So we're going to have him on the show in the second hour.
3 minutes until showtime.
So sit back and relax and enjoy the show. We'll be starting in a little under 3 minutes. Okay, John, just want to make sure that you're still on the phone with us and you're ready to go, okay?
Yep, already.
All right, and you heard everything we talked about, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. All right, hold on.
Two minutes until showtime. One minute until showtime.
Okay, stand by.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I am your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
Hey, Ben. How are you? How was your weekend?
You would know. You were there. But for everyone who wasn't there,
Yeah.
it was pretty good until 4th of July. So.
Until the 4th of July?
Well, yeah, the fireworks. Not good.
You don't like fireworks, so
that's true.
That's understandable. Fireworks are not for everybody.
Instead, I stayed inside with our 6 dogs and watched them all freak out. I mean, they went insane because we had all the kids up here, so everyone else was upstairs shooting off mortars and big fireworks and all the fun stuff, and the dogs were just losing it. So.
Well, they have sensitive hearing, and
so I had to play,
So you just kept them preoccupied.
Pretty much.
All right. Well, good. Well, but we had I know your brother came and visited, and he brought his friend Chris and his girlfriend along with him. So it was a full house here at the Crossman household, and we had an enjoyable 4th of July.
Did you see the video I put up on the Facebook page?
No.
On the Facebook page, I put up a video that came out actually on the 4th of July. It showed a drone going through the fireworks display.
Really?
In West Palm Beach, actually, which is where I'm originally from. So, it was the drone, West Palm Beach. Someone put a GoPro on it and flew it through all the active fireworks, and it's kind of gone viral now. Like the original video got something along the lines of 6 million views since the 4th of July.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's really cool. I mean, it's just a whole other perspective of, being inside a firework, which I hope no one here has been inside, but it's a really good video.
Yeah, I see the here posted at the 4th of July weekend, and you got they used the Phantom 2 drone.
Yep.
With the
GoPro
Hero 3 Silver. And it was filmed in West Palm Beach too. That's as you said. So, all right. So that's I have not watched it, but I will definitely watch it after the show.
Oh, my bad. 7 million views.
Wow. Well.
Went up 1 million today. My bad.
Yeah. All right. Well then, after I watch, it'll be 7,000,001, I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now we're going to. Anything else you want to mention before we get started? We have 2 very interesting guests tonight. So. And talking about really some interesting topics. The first one we're going to get into 3D printing. 3D printing is, I've always had mixed reactions at first. You said, well, it's going to be like printers. Everybody's going to have a 3D printer in the home. And I went, well, maybe yes. Although, as prices come down and efficiency becomes, they become more efficient and faster and quicker. I could see 3D printing, but I don't necessarily in every home. Heck, there's not even a printer in every home, But I think we'll see more and more of them appearing as it become more affordable and more versatile and faster. So our guest, Nina, you're a big you like 3D printing. I mean,
I saw it come into the consumer market early. Mm-hmm. And I kind of looked into it, and when another analyst said that they are going to be as influential as the engine was to the Industrial Revolution, I was like, let's look into this. And 3D printers, I mean, they could be and are already. So,
all right,
they're worth looking into.
Well, our guest this hour is with a company called Kudo3D. And they make a printer called the Titan 1, which was born to increase printing size, printing speed, and reliability while keeping consumer costs as low as possible. Those are the three factors, say speed, size, reliability, and cost, actually four things. Now, with patent pending passive self-peeling technology, we got to find out what that is. The Titan 1 features high speed, high resolution, and large build volume. It is easy to use, maintain, and upgrade. Its flexibility is ideal for artists, designers, students, educators, researchers, and I guess anyone interested in exploring the potential of a simple, easy-to-use 3D printer. Now, joining us tonight is the company's co-founder, Jonathan Chung. John, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hi, Craig. Hi, Ben. Thanks so much for having me here, and great to hear you guys had an awesome 3-day weekend.
Yes, except the fireworks. Now, let's before we get into the actual the 3D printer that we're going to talk about tonight. In your opinion, why do you think 3D printing is such a hot topic now?
Sure thing, Craig. Couple of main reasons. The first one would be, and as you mentioned earlier, I think 3D printing in general is definitely getting closer to the consumer price point, where everyday consumer can just hear about a cheap 3D printer and buy one to test it out. And the reason why it's becoming closer to the consumer price point is one, actually more from an intellectual property standpoint. The patents on some of the leading technologies have recently expired. Two that I'll mention is one is stereolithography, and that's actually not the technology that we're using for our Titan 1, and that is basically using liquid photosensitive resin and using laser or similar light source such as a projector to cure it or solidify the resin into plastic layer by layer. And another one that I think most people are familiar with is the FDM, or fused disposition modeling, and that's where you see the coil of plastic filament or metal, and that's definitely one you hear about the $200 to $300 printers. That's using the FDM. And kind of just to put things to perspective, about 5 years ago, an FDM printer can go for over $10,000, and nowadays you can find some from $200 to $300. So definitely from a patent perspective, that's one reason. And because of the patent expiration, there's a lot of open source hardware and software. So a lot of do-it-yourself DIYers can make cheap printers. And another kind of bigger reason why, in our opinion, that 3D printing is such a hot topic is more from a macroeconomic standpoint. Actually, demand driven from the U.S. economy. Since there was a recent economic downturn, there has been a demand for a strong new industry, right, to generate more jobs here in America. And President Obama actually is, supportive of the industry due to, localized jobs created from 3D printing. Instead of sending manufacturing offshore, Americans can now, manufacture themselves with more industrial-grade 3D printers. For example, Boeing actually, recently tested, using industrial 3D printers, and we believe it's about they mentioned it's a 50% cost savings, compared to traditional manufacturing. And in addition to that, with the U.S. leading the push of 3D printing, there's definitely more of an international focus as well. And we at Kudo3D think it's a definitely sustainable momentum, and it is just the beginning of the third industrial revolution, like Ben mentioned. And we think hardware is the foundation, and that's definitely why our company is focused on producing the printers itself, with Titan 1 being our first printer.
I didn't tell this to Ben, and it just as you're talking, it kind of came in a flash to me. I remember my first experience with a 3D printer, and it wasn't in an office, and it wasn't. It was when I went out, and this has to be at least 10, maybe 12, even maybe 15 years ago, when I went to the State Fair in Florida, and I remember they had this huge machine sitting out there, and for if you put $5 or maybe $10 into it, it would print you out. You could watch it actually 3D print this little plastic mold of I think it was of something with the fair. It was like a little statue or something that you watch it, and I don't know if that was necessarily 3D printing, but boy, I'll tell you, that was a big machine, and a very costly thing to print out. And it came out with this little, and you actually watch it kind of make this little plastic, globe or something that that had the state fair's logo on it or something. So that was my first experience. Of course, that was long, again, about 10, 15 years ago. And of course, now 3D printing. I don't know if that even used the same process. Probably not. That today's 3D printers are using. So, tell me a little bit about your company. I understand that you put your printer up on Kickstarter. Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Kudo3D was founded about 2 years ago, and we're based in the Bay Area here in California. Mm-hmm. Our mission is to improve the entire 3D printing experience, and our goal is actually to allow everyday households to enjoy the benefits of a high-quality 3D printer. Mm-hmm. Starting from kind of our first printer, we definitely want to offer a affordable but professional 3D printer. And like you mentioned, we actually just had a successful campaign on Kickstarter, launching our first printer, the Titan 1. It was a fascinating experience. We launched end of May, and we just wrapped up our campaign end of June. And it was a 30-day campaign. We received so much awesome support and enthusiasm from our backers, and we're definitely very appreciative.
Well,
we had an initial goal.
You were funded in like 2 minutes. I mean, you had an original goal of $50,000. According to that, you had 337 backers, and you achieved $687,116 for this. So congratulations to you. That's an extremely successful campaign.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fascinating. I mean, just watching kind of the backers kind of increase within the first 2 minutes. We reached 1,000K in the first 12 minutes. That was a phenomenal experience.
Yeah, I mean that must have been a wonderful affirmation to you as to what you were doing, and that obviously people want something like this to see that happen so quickly, John. And how did it make you feel?
No, absolutely. You're spot on. Actually, we did kind of start our marketing efforts a little earlier. I think a lot of people think about crowdfunding sites such as Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and kind of rely on them to bring the backers to you. But we definitely felt like with a $2,000 to $3,000 price point, we needed to build kind of the momentum and get the word out ourselves. So we did start a few months before we launched our campaign. We did grow a pretty good following on our website and on our forums and social media. But having the actual backers press the pledge button, I think that definitely spoke louder than any words. So we're pleased to really confirm our market, the kind of the niche market we're serving, and they're all very excited throughout the campaign. I think in addition to the funds itself, what was really valuable is understanding what are these folks going to use the Titan 1 for. For example, we definitely knew before we launched that jewelry designers will be a huge market for us. So that was confirmed. But on the other hand, actually some backers in the beginning send us a bunch of figurines and cool anime characters and wanted us to print it. And we took their feedback, we printed them, and we actually brought on a lot more character modelers than we originally expected. So it was a huge kind of learning process for us, both from just a hardware standpoint, what people want, but also from a market standpoint.
Right. So obviously the Kickstarter and the marketing that you've done initially to bring you information, it sounds to me like you were surprised with it. You knew about the jewelry design, but I mean, were some of these things kind of surprising to you and your team?
It was. I mean, we definitely, one of the benefits of the Titan 1 is actually we built it to be very versatile, allowing our users to easily adjust to print smaller things, such as rings and bracelets, but also be able to print, bigger statues or figures and whatnot. And we didn't actually think of, reaching out to, the video kind of gamers or the character modelers as much as we originally marketed to them. So through the campaign, we learned that that is actually a niche that is underserved right now, just because that's around the same price point. They can't print features as fine as we can. So some of the kind of engravings or facial expressions of the figures aren't being able to print it with other competitors. So with that, we're focusing our efforts a little more into these jewelry designers, character modelers. There's also folks that really do appreciate the fact that we could print small and large objects. So institutions, such as schools and universities, we spoke with some professors through the campaign. So we're very excited to kind of help out all the folks that could utilize a versatile printer. Another actually surprise was the fashion industry. So we had folks from big names such as BCBG reach out to us to see if we can potentially print out something for them to test out. So I think that's a whole other market that we didn't particularly pay attention to before the campaign. So we're excited to see what other industries we can help serve.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's obviously some exciting stuff. Now today, 3D printers are becoming more affordable. But let's talk a little bit about your printer. You've called it the Titan 1, and why did you name it the Titan 1?
That's actually a really good question. We spent quite some time trying to name our printer. We thought about the Kudo1, we thought about the K1, but we felt like Titan just had a ring to it, and we definitely do hope to disrupt the market, like the name suggests, and be the Titan of the printers. And there's three main reasons why we definitely think the Titan 1 would disrupt the high performance 3D printing market. First is, and I'll definitely talk more about our patent pending technology, but it is more advanced than our competitors, and it comes at a more affordable price as well. So we have higher resolution, we have 2 times faster printing speed, and we do have the largest printing size as well. And we're offering pre-orders now after Kickstarter below $3,000, when our kind of true competitors range from anywhere between $3,000 to $6,000. But we're also being compared to printers at a $50,000 price tag in terms of the resolution that we're offering.
Well,
second is
I mean, you mentioned it's going to be about $3,000. So what's the difference between a $300 printer and a $3,000? Because I've seen some 3D printers that they're trying to get them to go for like $300. And
Sure. Yeah, well, there's definitely a difference. The $300 printers would generally be using the FDM technology that I mentioned, which is more of the coil of plastic filament or metal wires. Generally speaking, the resolution is a lot. You can't compare with a SLA printer, and also the printing time is a lot slower. So from that perspective, the types of things you can print are more just really simple cups, perhaps maybe like a shower hook, or maybe plates, or like Lego, kind of without really fine details. So for folks that are just curious to test out a 3D printer, I think definitely the $200 to $300 ones will be the way to go. For us, our target customers are actually more of the prosumer and small business markets. So folks that are designers, artists, engineers, architects, jewelry designers, or labs or universities that would benefit from fast prototyping. We can print 3D animated figures, rings, bracelets, molds. So it's definitely more of a high-end product, but we would say we are the most affordable within the high-end 3D printers.
Okay. So you've given me a little bit of an overview of how you differ from your competitors. When you look at the printer too, it looks like it's a very nice. I mean, I've seen some of these other 3D printers, and they're really not, the nicest thing to look at. You kind of look at them and they go, well,
little industrial, most of them.
Yeah, pretty. Yours actually looks like a nice, something that you would look nice in the home or something. It looks like a very well designed. It looks pretty,
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
yeah. It looks like you had either an industrial designer kind of come up with this. Who came up with this shape for it?
Yeah, no, exactly. You're spot on. We have designers, engineers, and business folks on the team. So it was a in-house designer, and I'm actually very flattered you brought that up because kind of our philosophy in running this company is actually focusing on the core competency. And for us, 3D printing actually the foundation is the hardware.
Mm-hmm.
So we know there's some other 3D printers that kind of start with the design and then focus on the inside afterwards. We started with what goes inside the printer, in terms of the technology, and kind of just bits of design afterwards. But definitely having a nice design is an appeal, especially if you have a studio as a designer. You would hope your printer is somewhat presentable. So we're definitely happy to have some great designers on our team.
Yeah, no, that's good to know. So you have this printer, and you've obviously got the campaign was extremely successful, and so you're moving forward with it. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things here that you mentioned. You talk about it has a patent-pending passive self-peeling technology. Could you explain what you mean by that in detail?
Sure, absolutely. So with general stereolithography technology, there is a resin container where it contains the photosensitive resin, and there's either a laser or a projector, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just briefly on the difference, with the laser, it's more calibration involved. You're only printing one-dimensionally. You need to trace the figure that you're trying to print layer by layer. Compared to the projector that we use, using a projector, it's a lot faster. There's higher resolution because you're projecting the entire 2D image onto the resin. So it's kind of faster and more reliable as well. So we use the projector SLA technology. But with OSL technology, when you cure each layer by layer, there is a separation force. And if you don't have a good way to treat that, then you might have a kind of a decrease in resolution, right? And it also will prolong the printing time if your separation layers take there's a harder force. So we spent our engineering team spent about a year and a half perfecting our proprietary passive self-peeling technology, which is using a flexible resin container. That's kind of our secret sauce. So as each layer is being cured or solidified, it kind of goes with the flow of the figure. So it minimizes the separation force. Thus, it has higher resolution and a faster printing time as well.
So this self-peeling. So what is it? What is actually peeling? Is it the little edges there? I'm trying to understand exactly what it is.
So it's actually the whole layer. So if you think of it as if you're printing, say, an Eiffel Tower,
Mm-hmm.
or anything, a ring, right? It's the way the technology works is it slices the design into thin layers,
Mm-hmm.
and so the projector actually projects each layer by layer into the resin. And that's how the figure is formed.
Right.
So you print layer by layer, right?
Right.
So with our passive self-peeling resin container, it more allows each layer to kind of self-peel because it moves with the printing process. So instead of kind of a hard, if you can imagine, pulling the layer
Mm-hmm.
directly,
Mm-hmm.
we're more kind of allowing the figure to kind of self-peel. So it minimizes the force needed to print layer by layer.
Okay, and since it's passive, that means that there's no additional. It's just part of the design. In other words, nothing else is. It's not actively peeling. It's just the process of doing it actually causes this to happen. That's why you're calling it passive. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. All right. By the way, if you have a question or comment for our guest, you can call them at 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. I'll get you on and get you through. We also have email. It's live, Live, @computeramerica.com. You can also join us in our live interactive add-on chat room from our homepage at computeramerica.com. You'll see right there in the center of the homepage is a button that says chat room/video. Just click on that, and the chat room will ask you for a username. That's the name you'll be known by when you go in there. Click the sign-in button, and your Java-enabled browser on a Windows machine, Mac, Linux, they all work, will move you into the Computer America chat room. And sharing that same page is our live Computer America video stream, okay? And that's brought to you by Other World Computing, quality products, expert support since 1988. Visit them at www.macsales.com for any of your Mac needs, whether you're looking for hard drives, computer memory, accessories, even for hard drives for your PlayStation 4. They have a 1 terabyte drive that is actually a hybrid drive for $114. I mean, it's an amazing product, and they even give you the tool, the flash drive. They even give you the screwdriver to make it happen. I mean, they're very complete. They have instructional videos. Check them out at www.macsales.com. And again, our live Computer American video streaming page is brought to you by Other World Computing. So let's get back to what we're talking about. Our guest this hour is co-founder Jonathan Chung, who is the co-founder of Kudo3D, and we're talking about their amazing little Titan 1 3D printer. Let's talk a little bit more about the technology. I mean, today's 3D printers, why are most of them so costly? What's driving their prices up, and how can you bring a printer of this magnitude, which is faster, quick, slicker, for less money? What's working against them, and what's working for you, John?
Absolutely. That's a very good question. And for stereolithography, historically, it's even at a $3,000 price point right now. I think that's definitely revolutionary for this of technology. Affordable and reliable as possible. So we actually modularize our printer using as little components as possible, but using high quality products as well. A lot of our components are actually off the shelf, in terms of our HD projector and whatnot, so that they're proven consumable products. The chances of needing to fix is a lot lower compared to some of our competitors where they build everything from scratch. If there's an issue, you got to ship the whole printer to them. For us, we want to modularize and make it as easy for our consumers as possible. The reason why we can actually have such a kind of good performance and at a low price is really due to our patent pending technology, right? That's kind of our secret sauce. Our only component that we're manufacturing ourselves, so that lowers all of the initial costs that other companies face. And kind of just going back to the earlier question about explaining the patent pending technology, I think the easiest would actually be going on our website, Kudo3D.com, Kudo3D.com. Mm-hmm. Under products, there's a link to the Kickstarter link, and the video does a great job in kind of showing how it kind of moves with the printer. So that definitely shows. In addition to all of that, we definitely tried to not spend so much time on with the design or with other kind of marketing and other kind of head costs that other companies face versus a big corporation where there's so much kind of just fixed costs, right? For us, and with definitely the help of a crowdfunding site like Kickstarter, it really allows individual project owners or small companies to be able to have a channel to reach out to potential backers all over the world. And I think that's a phenomenon that really drives down the cost as well.
Yeah. Well, as I said, it's an amazing little printer, and we have a number of questions still for you, John, but we're at the bottom of the hour, so we're going to take a little break, and then we'll get back with you in a few moments, okay? You're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network. We're talking about 3D printing with Kudo3D. We'll be right back after this.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No hair removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No hair removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Good day. This is Marty Winston for Computer America with a news tips bulletin review of acoustic sheep run phones. Acoustic sheep run phones are a novel alternative for listening to audio. Stereo transducers are placed inside a stretchy fabric headband. And they're removable when it's time to launder the headband, and these float over your ears. Now, transducers are what's inside many headphones and not quite built the same as speakers. So, like on-ear headphones, these let in the sounds of the world. They are not amplified. We found the sound adequate when playing tracks on a handset and a tablet with their volume cranked almost all the way up. The specs claim a wide frequency response, but these are clearly mid-range transducers with some compromises in sensitivity toward the low end. The voices of Leon Redbone and Dean Martin, for example,
Dean who?
Have usually sounded deeper. This isn't a major handicap. Even audio purists can appreciate hearing anything at all during exercise. So, bottom line, acoustic sheep run phones are a handy way to listen to both your player and your surroundings. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show, 33 minutes past the hour, and good to hear Marty Winston's take on those, because I've actually been, looking into those, and
Really?
And yeah, and they look goofy, but I mean, Marty says they're good.
Yeah, well, it's Monday, so we have not one but two of news tip bulletins from Marty. So we'll have another one in the second hour of the show too. But I'm glad that you find these interesting.
Oh yeah, sure. And right now during this hour we have Kudo3D, and John here is talking with us about the 3D printers that he has and everything that has to do with them. And I actually have a question about the plans that you actually use to, make items using the 3D printers. But Craig, do we have a caller?
Yeah, we have a caller on the show, and he's got a question for our guest. So what I'll do is bring him on. Computer America, Craig Crossman. Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you doing today?
We're doing fine. You have a question for our guest, John Chung?
Yes, sir, I do. I have a question about the industrial purposes of your product. and the overall durability of what it produces. You spoke that, I believe you said Boeing was using similar technology to create products for half the cost. I was wondering what products of industrial value could your machine produce, and how durable is this resin after the item is created?
Sure, and kind of just to go back to the Boeing example, the printers they're using is definitely more, industrial grade, the hundreds of $1,000s or even more from a price point standpoint. And for us, it's a great question. We do focus more on the hardware. So for a lot of other competitors, they make their own resin, and it's often a little more expensive than some of the other pure material resin providers. So we actually took kind of the mindset of allowing our backers and clients to use whatever material that they prefer to kind of reduce some costs from that standpoint, right? So some of the more industrial usage we have so far are, for example, jewelry designers. So using castable resin. So being able to, print a ring and be able to cast it with metal. So that's one application. We are actively testing resin from a lot of different providers all over the world, and we have yet to really identify the partners that we'll work with just yet. But it's been looking very positive. There's really hard, material as well, where we actually tried, using our printer to try to crush it, and it still held its shape. So it is hard for more functional use. There are a few dental applications that have reached out to us to test print, so we're testing that as well. But kind of the big value out of our printer is actually more for the more intricate kind of design. So whether it's for architects or for character modelers or whatnot, and for them they care more about what it looks like, since it's more for a prototype. So that's a huge chunk of our market actually.
Okay.
I hope that. Yep.
Okay, Michigan.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, listen. Yeah.
May I ask one more question?
Sure. Go ahead.
So, who is the niche consumer that you are really trying to push this product to? You mentioned dentistry and jewelry and the simple modeling, such as I assume figurines and architecture models. But if this is going to go mainstream, who do you think it's going to benefit the most?
Sure. No, that's a great question. Right now, although I use the word niche, it's definitely a huge market still. If you think about all the designers, artists, engineers, architects, and it's all small businesses. Generally we don't see kind of individual hobbyists as much as we see small businesses, studios anywhere between 2 to 3 to even 10 folks within these companies. We do see this as a very good printer for universities or labs as well, to be able to support people who want to use it for different variety of prints. But in the future, we do hope to be able to maybe develop a low-cost printer for metals as well, and I think that opens up to a whole different other industries. But we're still, kind of in the exploration stage. We just launched our Kickstarter campaign. We are going to accept pre-orders in the next week or two. And like I mentioned earlier, I think fashion industry is also one that has been, kind of reaching out to us, and we're curious to explore that as well in terms of creating prototypes for, purses or, other items. That's also one thing that we're looking into as well. And kind of to your point, I think in general, 3D printing is still pretty in the kind of infant stages. If you want to think about really being able to be at the consumer level where, you know, you want to print, for example, you know, your toothbrush holder, right, with wood and with all these different materials. I think material is one kind of factor that industry as a whole need to improve on. And until the day that we can print anything you want to use, we're still a little bit from that, you know, I would say a few years from that stage. But for the purpose of prototyping, you know, for these industries that I mentioned, it's definitely, you know, kind of a huge benefit to them being able to print these things at a much faster and also cost-effective way.
All right, Michigan, hopefully that answers your question, and thanks so much for calling the Computer America Show, and you keep listening, okay? All right.
Thank you very much.
All right. 347-884-8881. I'll get you on and get you through. Opened up another line. We are talking to Jonathan Chung. John is the co-founder of Kudo3D. We're talking about the Titan 1 printer. You know, when the caller was asking questions, another thing came to mind is car parts. Now, I'm not saying the integral mechanical ones, but you know,
you can print an engine. See, you didn't mention that earlier. I think a lot more people would be willing to buy this if you could print car engines.
You make it sound like Terminator 2. You know, you can't make complex items, but he can make stabbing weapons, and you know. So I think it's the same thing. In other words, for example, trim and decorative things, or simple pieces for, let's say, that you can't get anymore. It would be interesting if you can use a 3D printer to print out those parts. Is the rosin that you're going to be using going to be hard enough, at least not necessarily for metal, but I mean for plastic, or you know, or simple body parts, that type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, definitely there are industrial printers that can do that today. You know, printing metals is actually also, you know, something that's happening today. And one of the patents that is called selective laser synesting, and that's actually using layer to, you know, to shoot into powdered material, and that actually can form metal prints. So, you know, from an industrial kind of, you know, corporation level, you know, they are leveraging these technologies already, but we do hope that, you know, in the next year or two, be able to see more kind of, you know, the prosumer, we call it, you know, the, you know, sub $10,000 printers utilizing this technology.
Yeah, one of the things is my other co-host Charles Tindall is a huge car buff, and you know, he said that, you know, he was trying to order a couple of because he has these old collectible cars, and he just can't get the door trim or the pieces that he needs, you know, to on the decorative portion of the car. And he says, boy, if I can print those out, that would be great. He would just need to get of course, when you do that, you have to have the code. In other words, someone has to figure out, you know, the code that you're going to put into the 3D printer. I understand a lot of those are starting to pop up, though. There are websites and things starting to offer codes to print things out on 3D printers. Is that true?
Yes, there are sites, and I think due to the fact that, you know, it is kind of on the infant stages to become at the consumer level, there are actually a lot of players that hope to be kind of the central platform to, you know, number one, get designs like you mentioned, or even, you know, print out stuff for folks, right? So Shapeways, for example, is a leader in that in terms of, you know, if you see something you want to 3D print, they have printers there, they'll print it and ship it to you. In terms of designs, there's a few sites out there as well. And, you know, it's definitely kind of exciting, you know, to see what services could happen in the next few years. Just to put things in perspective, there's been an independent study of the entire 3D printing in terms of sales, materials, and associated services, how big the global market is. As of 2013, it was only 2.5 billion. By 2018, it's forecasted to grow to 16 billion. So, you know, definitely in the next 5 years, we do, you know, expect to see exponential growth of, you know, usages, both at the, you know, corporation and also individual level as well.
We've also seen 3D printing in the kitchen too. When we were at the Consumer Electronics Show, they were actually printing 3D candy that you could eat. You know, Now, does the printer have to be designed for that too, or is it just the disposal, the material that you're using, if it's edible, or does the printer have to be modified to work with edible material or something?
Yeah, no, it definitely has to be both. You know, particular printers using, you know, that are built to print food. I know there was actually a 3D, you know, food printer on Kickstarter as well. You know, those are definitely different technology.
Mm-hmm.
For us, I hope our backers don't try to put pizza sauce in our printer. It will not work. So, but I think, you know, even with that, you know, it's still pretty kind of you know, in the frontier in terms of what you can print, right?
Mm-hmm.
You won't be able to print and have a full-on made pizza, right? You might be able to print a pizza dough, for example. So we'll see. We'll see what this next few years brings us.
Now, Jack in the chat room says that Jay Leno has been printing out car parts. I don't know if that's necessarily true or not, or if he was just kidding around.
Well, I mean, he's a classic car fan, so I'm sure he's you know, kind of on the leading edge of that, printing out car parts.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone we're going to do it. But I mean, I think a thing that we're kind of, you know, we keep touching on but aren't really explaining is that, you know, 3D printing has been around for a long time, like, you know, 20 or so years in the industrial scene, you know, for printing out large parts and tools and, you know, a lot of the pieces to make the bigger machinery. 3D printer actually kind of started there, and, you know, you had subtractive and additive, and it's just like only in about like the last 10 years, you know, you started seeing the 3D printers for medical uses. You know, we're doing stories almost every day now about 3D printing kidneys and organs and things like that. And then, you know, in the last 5 years or so, it's really blown up with the consumer level 3D printers. So, you know, it's just taking everything that was at the industrial level and moving it down until, you know, now we are at, I think it's safe to say that we're kind of at the hobbyist level. You know, it's not every household yet, but, you know, John kind of mentioned in the next 5 years it's going to grow, you know, 8 times as much as it is right now. That's probably because it's going to get down to the every household level, and, you know, and that's what we're seeing here. So, you know, you won't be able to print out an engine, but, you know, I saw someone the other day who printed out a little, you know, that they had their own computer-aided design program, and they printed out this little kind of clip thing, and it was perfect for slipping in, you know, all his cords behind his computer, and it was, you know, just a couple inches long. He made it himself, but it's great for those, you know, those little household uses. So, I mean, 3D printers are coming down to the household level, and I think that's where, you know, Titan kind of fits in, is, you know, it's just that another step, you know, down, or, you know, not saying in a bad way, just, you know, another step to bridge the gap.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think you're spot on. You know, in terms of why, you know, the industry as a whole is projected to grow so much, is definitely more applications, right? You know, right now, you know, to buy a cup, for example, it might be cheaper to just buy it in a traditional store or online versus 3D printing one. Print higher quality items. You know, for example, right now, if you want to print a cup, you won't be able to really print the detailed engravings that you might want. In the future, you might be able to, you know, personalize design, you know, a graduation ring, you know, a nice Father's Day cup, for example, and be able to print it to be, number one, functionable, and number two, be able to capture all the detailed engravings of your design.
By the way, Jack was not lying. He actually printed. It was an article in Popular Mechanics, and Jay Leno is using a 3D printer to print out car parts. Simple one. Still, yeah. Yeah.
And I actually have a question. You know, we kind of glazed over the one about how to get the plans for things. You said that, you know, it makes sense if you're trying to print out, you know, character, you know, little, you know, figurine characters, whatnot, and other things like that. But, yeah, I mean, do you have? Yeah, I know it's not an app store, but, you know, do you have your own kind of app store, or does the printer take files, you know, like from a certain extension, and then it can use those to print things? Like, how are these files, you know, used by the printer?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. There's no app. It actually, most printers kind of have the same process right now, which is you may design your own file using a CAD, computer-aided design, and you get you transfer it into a STL file. So you would connect your computer with the printer, via HDMI cord or your USB cord as well. To number one, there are software that slices up the design into layers, and the 3D printer will use these layers to print layer by layer to form the figure. So that's one process where people may design their own, but there are kind of sites that you can download already made files, such as Thingiverse. And there are other kind of sites, that's rolling out soon that you can buy designs, and some are for free, but some of the more designer items or jewelry or whatnot, you may need to pay a nominal fee for the design.
Yeah, but you see, there's a future in that. I mean, I can see somebody starting a company that, with selling. I guess it's software. Really, it's a different type of software.
Selling
but
the plans.
It's the plans to, you want to make this model, on your 3D print, purchase this, and you can print out an F1, fighter plane or something. A model of an F1 fighter plane.
I mean, they have a couple websites that already do that, and some that do that as well as have a service that say, pick a plan and we'll print it for you and then we'll ship it to you. That they have that as well. But I mean, I'm not sure if John has any experience with this, but a big community has kind of sprouted up around the Pirate Bay. That's usually used for downloading movies and stuff like that illegally. But I mean, if people make their own designs, they put it up on the Pirate Bay, and they actually give out their designs for free. So I mean, there are just the sharing of designs is out there as well. So you don't have to be an artist just to make cool things.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and I think was it Ralph Bond, who works with Autodesk, says a lot of that you can now use their AutoCAD product to print out the types of files that 3D printers are accepting. I don't know if there's an industry standard for 3D printing. Is there a particular kind of dot file that you would look with that extension for a 3D printer file, John?
There is. It would be the STL file that I mentioned. Mm-hmm. It was originally meant for just stereolithography prints, the technology we use, but mm-hmm. it is pretty much the industry standard now in terms of the type of file. And it's funny how you mentioned Autodesk. We are actually hoping to be one of the first adopters of their new software platform. It's called the Spark platform. Uh-huh. So Autodesk announced that they're launching their own 3D printer, and also a software platform to it's open source. So for folks like us, where our bread and butter is the hardware itself. So if there's Autodesk, a world-class software provider, with the open source software, we'll be first ones to jump on there and allow our users to have kind of the best-in-class hardware and software.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Ralph is on the show every month, and he's with Autodesk, and I know he's talked about 3D printing using the AutoCAD product.
He also we do news stories with him, right?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
So I'm sure he also comes to us with cool stuff like that. I'd be excited if he actually picked up on the Titan, because he's very interested. So he might have already picked up on you guys, and might talk about it later.
And if not, we'll certainly ask him.
That's awesome.
All right.
You, that's awesome.
So tell us a little bit about, so now, what's your future plan for your company, now after Kickstarter and you come out with the Titan? I mean, what directions where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Sure. I'll start with the immediate kind of focus. Definitely delivering a great printer to our Kickstarter backers is priority. Those are the folks who, kind of took the leap of faith, backing us without, having a previous line of products. Having a great product in November is key. We're starting to take pre-orders soon, so we hope to, be able to sell through our website. We'll start to take pre-orders in the next couple of weeks. In general, the long-term plan is, like I mentioned, our mission is to, improve the 3D printing experience in general and be able to have, a truly consumable, high-quality printer, right? So that could entail multiple things. One could be looking into having printers for particular niches. So maybe a printer particular for jewelry designers, maybe one for character modelers, right? Or maybe even one for the fashion industry, since that's one industry that we're exploring. So being able to have a printer that's more precise for them and hopefully lower the cost for them as well. Also, just in general, Titan 1 is built to be more versatile, so adjustable to print different things. So having upgraded models, I think that's also something we're looking towards too. We're excited to look into potential partnerships, right? Like for 3D software such as Autodesk. 3D scanning is also something that's up and coming to really have a good resource there to scan, pictures of your baby and be able to print that right away. Materials as well, whether it's working with materials companies or doing it ourselves to be able to print functional items. Actually, one other exciting one that we hope to get into perhaps as well is developing a low-cost printer for metals. So just being able to continue to deliver great products and services. We do support and service as well for our users. Kind of one interesting fact is our backers in general are definitely more of the sophisticated users. So we learned a lot from feedback from them and comments from them throughout our Kickstarter campaign. We hope to kind of stay engaged with our backers and clients, and based on their feedback, hope to deliver top of the line products and services for them in the next few years.
Yeah. Quickly, we have a question in the chat room. He wants to know, if you can use a 3D scanner. Some of these higher resolution 3D scanners, could you use to scan an object and then use it and have the printer print those out? I know they're starting. I've seen a few of them out there now.
Yeah, absolutely. Just as long as the files in STL, which most 3D scanners do.
Yeah.
Depending on the resolution. Actually, the worry is more. Some of the scanners don't support truly high resolution just yet, but we can definitely print them.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, Jonathan, I want to thank you so much for being with us here tonight. Again, if you go to computeramerica.com and go to our show notes page, you will see today's date, which is the 7th of July, and you'll see the link to the Kudo3D website, and you can see the Titan one for yourself. Check it out, and look at it, and watch the videos, and I think you're going to be very impressed with this amazing little printer that's about to make its debut. John, thank you again for being with us here. It was a lot of fun and very informative.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right,
Thank you.
Take care. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.
All right, there you go. All right, so Kudo3D, again, amazing little printer, and if you want to see more information about it, go to the website. I mean, actually watch the video. It's actually really interesting to see that. Okay, coming up in hour 2, we're going to have Computer and Technology News, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. If you go to our homepage right now, just please check out our limited special offer from ProXPN. You'll see the website, the link right there. You click on it, and you can see everything that basically ProXPN. It's available. It offers you uncompromising security. Whatever you're doing, your activities will be blocked. Whether even though the ISPs that you're using tries to see what you're doing, if you use ProXPN, you don't have to worry about any of that. We want you to use it. By the way, we have a special code. It's all on this page. When you click the ProXPN, it's CompAM, and if you use that, you'll get an additional 20% off membership, which is less than $5 a month. And again, that's forever. Once you register, you've got it for good. So head over to computeramerica.com, check out the ProXPN website. Again, it's really impressive. We've got a very strong 2048 bits. Their encryption tunnel is 512 bits. It works with iOS. It works with Android. You can use the point-to-point tunneling protocol if you want to, but it'll let you use PPTP, because it just does. It works on Mac. It works on Windows. It even has a special feature that if you lose the connection, you can tell it what applications you want to quit, so you can't be retracked. It is a very sophisticated system. Again, check it out at proxpn.com, or just go to our website at computeramerica.com and click on the ProXPN link. We have a special page there. You can see all that right there at computeramerica.com. ProXPN. All right, as I said, we've got computer technology news coming up, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. We're going to be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
Broadcasting live. It's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And we just got off the phone with Kudo3D. Very interesting, talking about their latest 3D printer. And,
I like the look of it. I know we kind of glazed over it, but the look of it's good.
It is. It looks very futuristic. It does. It has that futuristic, high-tech look about it, but very nicely made. I mean, it's got some nice lines too. It's got that clear, like one of them has like a clear amber top to it. They have a red, they have amber, and they have different shapes, but it looks really, really slick. And at first, when you look, it looks like an Xbox 360, on its side, but it's not. It's a lot different. But again, the Titan one, and you can see it at their website. Again, just go to ComputerAmerica.com, go to our show notes, and you can see everything there. Okay, we had a guest planned for Hour 2, but they have not shown up, and that's unfortunate. Because they use 3D printing to print out medical cast. In other words, when you break your arm, you have a cast, but instead of using the traditional plaster that you find on a cast, they actually have a 3D printed one that it lets air in. It has an attachable bone stimulator. It lets light, it lets air in, and it promotes healing much more quickly than a standard cast. And we had the designer scheduled, but for some reason, and he's in Paris, and evidently for some reason we were not able to get him on the show.
It might have been the time.
Yeah, but he knew.
We've had good luck with other European guests recently, but I mean, you got to think it is about 4 a.m. there.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we'll see if we can try and reschedule him for another time. But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, that means I guess we're going to do some computer news. So anything else you want to mention before we get started?
No, I think we're good.
All right. Well, let's do it. Tonight's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for free. That's right, everything there, completely free. There's no freemium, there's no crippled version or limited time version. No, it's completely free. SlimwareUtilities.com. It will clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system. As we say it, well, we use it here at the Crossman household. We use all of them at the Crossman household, even their backup software. Check them out. Download all of the Slimware Utilities products. Use them all. You'll be very glad that you did do that, and you'll thank us for it. Okay, SlimwareUtilities.com. All right.
All right. Before we get to it,
yeah,
let's talk about the CMOS battery.
What changed your mind? I wasn't going to say.
I don't want to go into what changed it. Let's just say.
All right. Well,
Let's do it.
Here's the thing, and again, Ben is becoming very knowledgeable on computers. I mean, he's actually shown me a thing or two that I didn't know, and evidently he was having a problem with the Origin PC that he has, which is our official computer here at Computer America. We thank them for that computer, and it's a gaming system, and every once in a while, it'll go through this, especially when there's like a power outage or something, or a non-standard shutdown, and then when the power comes back up, he'll try to start it up, and it'll look like it's starting to start, but then it'll quit, and he tried resetting it, and he tried a number of things getting it to work, but just had some bad luck with it. And so finally I said to Ben, I said, look, he said, I need some help with this, and I said, I'd be happy to help you. And I said, did you check the little battery that's on the motherboard? Well, no. Because why not? Well, because that's just for the clock, And
I didn't say that.
Well, no, but that's most people's thoughts, that the battery is is for the clock.
Mine was, that battery is very, very tiny and does a very, very small job. I mean, I didn't think it would die within a couple months.
Yeah, but it did, and when I took it out and I put it on he handed it to me, and I put it on a battery tester, and I said, don't do anything, just let me check the battery, and the battery was dead as a doornail. So fortunately, it was a fairly not too uncommon, a battery, and I happened to have a couple of them, and I did a check, and I had ones that were fully charged, and I went back and I said, take the battery, put it back in, because you'd done all the things. You checked the memory, you had rotated the memory, inserts. You did all the proper.
Reseated everything, took all the wires out, cleaned the dust out. I mean, rubbed it with lotion. I tried everything.
Got to try to sweet talk it, everything, but no go. So he put the battery back in with the charged battery, put it up, and he says, this is not going to work. It's not going to work. I said, just turn it on. And so he turns it on, and it worked. So so I went ahead and further. I went to Tom's Hardware, which is an excellent authority on tech, and he had a question posted: why does the battery on the motherboard matter? That's the question. It said, and this was the question. Here's the deal. A person wrote into Tom's Hardware, says that a computer at my workplace would not boot up after shutting down. It would boot up if I waited at least 10 minutes or more. He says, my supervisor said to change the battery and the problem would go away, and it did. He says, when I asked him why, he actually said he didn't know, and the only reason why he suggested it was because he fixed another computer with the same problem by doing just that. So he asked Tom Hardware, do you know why? Thank you for your time. And the answer from Tom's Hardware is, the battery on today's modern computers supplies power to your BIOS chip. That's the basic input-output system, which detects your hardware when you boot the computer. No battery, no saved pre-configured BIOS settings. And that's just the way it works. This is not true on all computers, but many computers rely on the battery to keep a tiny little current to the pre-configured BIOS settings. And if you've made changes and your battery dies, there's a good possibility that your computer won't boot up. So changing the battery, save the day, and his computer works again. So there you go. Okay.
I mean, the symptom it was showing, I didn't think it had anything to do with the battery, but apparently it did.
No.
So I mean, because it was doing something called double posting. Like it would start for 7 seconds, and then when it got to the time to post, it would just shut off immediately. So I didn't think that would correlate to the battery. But I mean, it started up, so I'm assuming that was it.
Yeah. Well, when you make changes to the BIOS, I mean, it comes preset to the factories. But if you make any changes to the BIOS, or some changes are made, many times you would think in today's modern technology you wouldn't need it would have to be electrically alterable ROM. In other words, rather than something that it would just remember, like flash memory does. But not all computers use that, and they require that little battery to keep the current. So when you put the battery back in, then it was able to retrieve the information and boot it up properly.
The biggest inconvenience was, of course, starting my computer up and it saying it was, December 31st, 2009.
Yeah, you had to reset the clock, too, because the battery...
Oh, my God. The pain, the suffering.
Well, wait a minute. Why, you wouldn't have to change that, though, because you just check the thing off of Windows that says update the clock with the...
It says that, but didn't work.
It did not work. It
Yeah.
should. It should. It should update the time. I know on the Mac, for example, you have an option in the system settings. As a matter of fact, let me go to right here in preferences.
No, I have it right here, and it's set to it. It's just it didn't do it immediately. So, I mean, I just changed it personally. So.
Well, yeah, I guess that's that is.
I mean, I have it right here saying, this computer is set to automatically synchronize to time.nist.gov, but it's not immediate, so.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, no, exactly. On the Mac, it says there's a checkbox that says set date and time automatically, and then it gives you some different servers like Apple US Time, Apple.com, Apple Asia, Apple Europe. That's on the Mac, but and of course, if you don't have that checked off, then you're not gonna have up to the moment time, and then you have to rely on the clock that's internal to the computer. But anyway, if you have it, your computer's double posting, and you're not check your computer's battery, and it might just be as simple as changing that to make it work again. Just another hardware tip from Computer America. Okay, so we started the computer news, and our first story of the. I always do the first story. Why don't you do the first story of the evening for a change, Ben?
All right. Well, this one is explicitly not computer technology news, but I think you get a kick out of it.
Okay.
This one from Blaster. Yes, I'm using the alternative to device, Blaster, and this one is about a new movie coming out soon.
Oh, okay.
And Mark Wahlberg, you may know him from such things as the new Transformers movie. Is the most recent thing he's done. He's done. I think he did a couple of the Bournes.
No,
is that Mark Wahlberg?
No, that was not Mark. Mark Wahlberg didn't do a Jason Bourne, but he's done some. He
does high energy action films.
Yes, he does.
And of course, he did Ted, which is fun too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a report that claims that the $6 Million Man is being rebooted, and Mark Wahlberg could be the actor to get the expensive upgrade.
Wow.
So a production news site called The Tracking Board claims that Universal Pictures is getting ready to bring the popular 1970s TV series to the big screen, and the star of the current Transformers, Age of Extinction, being courted to take the role of Steve Austin, an astronaut whose body is rebuilt, better, stronger, faster, with cybernetics after a near-fatal crash in an aircraft.
That'd be cool. I'd go see that movie. That'd be cool. Yeah.
So, apparently it's going to, the original series was based on the novel called Cyborg, and it kicked off with 3 TV movies in 1973, and it had 5 series of a sitcom. So, they said they were going to reboot it in the mid-90s with Kevin Smith to write the screenplay, but it just didn't get around to it. So, looks like in the coming, next couple months we'll probably hear yes or no. But yeah, Mark Wahlberg, new $6 Million Man, maybe.
I could see him doing that. By the way, did you ever see the original TV series?
I didn't. I hear so much about it, but I the only thing I know of it, because I've never seen it, is the whole,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the little noise whenever he does something amazing.
Well, because that, and also and they had him do it in slow motion because they couldn't figure out a way to make it look real because he was moving so fast. Because just speeding up the film made it look, comical. So they went the opposite direction. So every time he was going really, really fast, they would use slow motion, and that was the answer back in the 70s to do it. Of course, with today, with CGI and things, I'm sure they could actually do a very real, convincing job of it. The Bionic Woman was a spin-off too, with I'm blocking her name, but she was she played the.
Oh, I'll figure this one out.
Yeah, exactly. And I saw that original TV series too. I watched that when going up as a kid. It was a lot of fun watching it.
Lindsay Wagner.
Lindsay Wagner, yes, exactly. All right. This next story is from Time magazine. Basically, it says that the Kinect version 2.0 for Windows will cost half an Xbox One on July the 15th. Evidently, Microsoft's revised motion sensing peripheral will run you $200, which is half the price of a $400 Xbox One when it goes on sale later this month. Wisdom was Microsoft removing Kinect from its Xbox One, but for all our with the peripheral as a home theater interface, we're quick to forget where the real Kinect story played out. Microsoft's motion and voice recognition sensor bar was a boon for armchair tinkerers who figured out how to use the peripheral to control real-world robots, play heart and soul like Tom Hanks and Robert Loggia in Big. Remember that movie? Open toilet bowls without touching the lids, or play World of Warcraft without a controller.
Always fun.
Yeah. You hear about that stuff less this last year or so, but in part because the Kinect version 1 is now 3.5 years old, and the Kinect 2 hasn't been available apart from the Xbox One. That's going to change on the 15th of July when Microsoft begins selling its Kinect for Windows V2 sensor as a standalone part for $200. That's right, $200, making it roughly twice the presumptive price of the part based on Microsoft's subtractive Xbox One pricing. The Xbox One dropped from $500 to $400 on the 9th of June, and the only difference in the SKU was the removal of the Kinect sensor. To be clear, there's no official Kinect for Xbox One standalone SKU. Okay, you can't go out to Amazon or GameStop or Microsoft's own product store and purchase Kinect for Xbox One separately. Microsoft said such a part is coming, but not how much it'll cost. Assuming Kinect version 2 for Windows was going to be $100, therefore was simply that, an assumption. But $200 does seem a little spendy, even if it's $50 less than what we initially paid the first time around for Kinect version 1 for Windows, back in 2012. For $200, you'll get Kinect version 2. That's it. No software. Nada. If you want to develop anything for it, you'll have to hook up with the Kinect for Windows SDK 2, which is Software Developer Kit 2.0, which Microsoft notes is licensed separately. Okay, so there it is. You can get an Xbox One for your computer.
Kinect.
I mean, a Kinect for your computer. That's right.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, the Kinect is when the first one came out. That's when everyone was starting to get into motion controls, and they were using it for everything from like robots to gesture controls with their computer and things like that. The Kinect 2 for Windows, though, we're as soon as that comes out and people start getting their hands on it and start doing things with it, we're gonna start seeing, because remember, like 2 years ago, they had that little device. It had a Kickstarter. You put it in front of your computer and you move your hand like over the air, over the device, and it controlled your computer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm blocking what it used to be, but I mean, it was relatively cheap, but
it was the Leap.
Leap. There we go. And the Leap was supposed to be like, oh my God, this thing's gonna be amazing. It's going to. So, but I mean, the Leap really.
Charles Tendell bought 2 of them, and they're in a drawer somewhere now.
Yeah, unfortunately. So I mean, but the Kinect 2 is, I mean, for that much money and for the things you can do, and how sensitive it is. Not to mention it's a webcam and microphone and all that kind of stuff. I mean, expect to see better things than the Leap could ever do. So I mean, it's could be interesting. Let's see. Next story. How about Hummingbird?
Hummingbird?
Hummingbird is the new thing that will try to give Raspberry Pi a quote-unquote solid run for its money. Yeah. And so this one is from Maxim PC, Mr. Pulkit Chandna, and a new single board computer from Israel from an Israeli company to begin shipping later this month. So Israel-based Solid Run is now taking orders for single board computers that is reportedly capable of fitting into any third-party case designed for the hugely popular Raspberry Pi. So looks and size aside, the Hummingbird, as the diminutive PC is called, is much more powerful than its storied rival. So with 3 variants priced at $45, $75, and $100, respectively, power adapter and 4 GB micro SD sold separately, the Hummingbird is more expensive than the Pi, which is $25 to $35. So no matter what, even the cheapest is more expensive than the more expensive Raspberry Pi. So featuring a single core 1 GHz processor and 512 megabytes of RAM, the most basic version, the Hummingbird i1, is not only more powerful than the Pi, but it only has a 700 megahertz ARMv6 chip, but is also capable of running a wider choice of operating systems. The other 2 SKU packed dual chips and doubled the memory. So, they have a quote here: the Hummingbird allows you to run many open source operating systems such as Ubuntu, Debian, and Arch, as well as Android and XBMC. So with this technology based on SolidRun's state-of-the-art microsystem on a module, it has ready-to-use OS images, and its open hardware comes with full schematics and layout. Best of all, as a Linux single-board computer, the Hummingbird is backed by the global digital maker community, which means you can alter the product in any way you like and get full kernel upstreaming support for the assistance you need. I think that last part just means, since it runs Linux, you get to utilize all the great things that come with Linux, being that it's open source. But I mean, it's you heard that right. It fits into all of the PC cases that Raspberry Pi already fits into, but it's more powerful. So I think that's the big thing here.
You know what's going to happen? They come out with a Raspberry Pi 2.
But see, they don't have to do that because Raspberry Pi is fully upgradable. You can take apart pieces here and there. I mean, yeah, it's all on the motherboard, but a lot of it, I'm pretty sure, is swappable.
Well, this looks like looks like a very cool little thing. I mean,
Oh yeah, no, a couple of USB ports, and an Ethernet adapter, and again, it's all on. I think it's an audio jack, and all on one board.
Yeah. Now, they have. It's a little more expensive. 45, 75, and 100 is which than the Raspberry Pi. But I think that Oops, we just lost it. We just lost ourselves. Hold on, we just got blasted off here. We have to reconnect. Let's see. What goes on? Why do we get dumped? Hold on. Let's see. Yeah. There we go.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
Okay, welcome back to the Computer America Show. Sorry we got dropped there, but yeah, we're talking about this new Raspberry Pi competitor, which we really haven't seen many of. Raspberry Pi kind of took the I don't want to say hobbyists, but it just people who wanted a smaller computer to do things like I know people were using them to use their pool timers, so they could connect it to Wi-Fi, make a little program, and they could control their their pool pump and stuff like that, all from their smartphone or from anywhere in the world. They use them for little hobby projects, but this one is more powerful. So they can do more types of hobby projects and in different ways than Raspberry Pi could.
Oh, by the way, we got a chat something in the chat room. They brought up a point, and actually, it's a good one. Just for the others that listen, if you're listening to us on Blog Talk Radio, we got dropped for a moment. We're back. But if you're listening to us on the video streaming page, which is actually Google Hangouts, guess what? We don't lose connection there. So.
So we need to watch our mouth when we do that.
Yeah. So we still. So, and we should probably not stop talking because I just realized that the Hangouts will always be connected, but even if we get dropped from Blog Talk Radio, so that's good in the future. We'll just continue.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Thanks to Jonathan, by the way, for pointing that out in the chat room.
Let's see, I just took my wig off. I thought we were off the air, so I was like,
no. Okay.
So, no, okay. But but that's that story. Again, it is called the Hummingbird. I think I've been saying Hummingbird this entire time.
Yeah, you.
Hummingbird. I can't believe I messed that up so bad. Hummingbird. It's shipping now, and it's
Yeah, and it's a little healthy competition. I'm sure Raspberry Pi might come up with something else to compete with it.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Jonathan said that he just saw another smartwatch that he thinks looks better than the Motorola 360.
There was a story that I didn't put in because I don't think it offered any new information, but people love to speculate about this new iWatch that supposedly is coming out in September or August or October, whenever they're supposedly going to come out with it. But everyone's clamoring for an iWatch. I mean, if Apple doesn't give an iWatch, there's going to be so many sad little boys this Christmas.
Yeah. Well, In the meantime, let's Engadget's got an interesting story with BlackBerry. Now you know BlackBerry has been up and
You seen
down,
this phone?
and they have a phone that how should I say it? It's rectangular in shape, and it's odd looking, but I guess it must have a reason. This is it, if you're anything like us, your reaction to the unveiling of BlackBerry's upcoming Passport smartphone probably involved a few choice expletives. Why the heck would you ship such a blocky device in 2014? Well, thankfully, BlackBerry is more than happy to explain in a new blog post. It argues that the rectangular shape of most smartphones is fine for video and quick chats, but lousy for work. The Passport square screen may look odd, but it's supposedly ideal for reading documents. You won't have to scroll quite as much when you're checking out a spreadsheet or writing a magnum opus. Logically, that hardware keyboard also keeps the interface out of the way as much as possible. You know, if BlackBerry has to do something innovative to stay on top, because they did initially with the original BlackBerry, this could work. I mean, this is actually kind of cool, and I could see
Nope.
why.
Let's finish this one. Let's talk about the design. You know, we'll describe what it looks like to people, and then I'll go on to another story that we have that proves why this won't work.
Okay, well, the story goes on to say they're interesting ideas, and the unusual form factor might just work for BlackBerry's suit and tie audience. Having said this, extra-wide smartphones have rarely fared well in a market that currently favors tall designs. LG's View Siri, also known as Intuition, hadn't had much of an audience outside of its native South Korea, and the Pantech Pocket quickly fizzled out. The crew in Waterloo may have to do a lot more than write a brief explanation to get people ditching rival devices that are gentler on their hands and pockets. Okay, so you don't think it's going to work? Why?
Again, first let's talk about the design of it.
Yeah.
And when Craig says square, rectangular, what have you, this thing defines rectangular.
Ooh.
I mean, the corners are sharp. They're not rounded. It's very, it's and they have a picture here comparing it to what I assume is the Note as well as the iPhone 5S. It's actually taller than the 5S, wider than either one of the phones, but actually a little bit shorter than the Galaxy Note. So, I mean, this thing is huge technically in terms of phone real estate.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
talking about design, Jonathan Chatron just pointed out this new smartwatch called the Arrow. You should click on the link. That's a nice looking watch.
I've heard of that. Where have I heard of that?
Just look at it. Just click on the link and take a look at it. It's actually it's like the Moto 360. I think it's a little more sleek. And if that is a digital face that I'm looking at, which I assume it is, it looks like it's analog, but it's a digital face. That's pretty slick, you know.
Don't see it. You know, they have a little demo video here showing, and doesn't look like it's
Digital?
No, I don't think that's a face is digital. But no, but getting back to the phone real quick. Lunchbox and Chatham just said that it was. So, you know, very, very sleek looking watch. But getting back to these phones and why it won't work.
Yes, why?
Here's another article from Time magazine. And it's called The Death of Phones.
Oh.
So, you know, this one, of course, coming from Ben Badgerin, and he kind of writes this from a first-person perspective. So, you know, he says, I remember my first cell phone. It was a hand-me-down Motorola Star TAC from my father.
Yeah,
As many who had cell phones during the time will remember, there was a liberating feeling in being able to talk to anyone, anytime, any place. Smartphones didn't exist at the point in time, and as the cellular industry grew, it went on a run where the central value of the device was telephony. Those days are gone. The phone as an app is the popular way to think about the role of telephony on a mobile device today. So, you know, when you sit down and really watch people using their smartphones, what are they doing? They take pictures, watch movies, check on Facebook and Twitter, read the news, play games, and more. So what if instead of buying a smartphone, consumers are buying cameras, mobile gaming consoles, portable TVs, newspapers, and whatever else your smartphone can turn into thanks to software? So, So while this may seem obvious, I'm not sure it's obvious to consumers. Rather, it's very subconscious. They may not realize cognitively that they are shopping for a pocketable camera, game console, and TV, but they know they want those features, and they want them to be great. So, music means we have to take a break, but when we come back,
Yes.
we're going to prove why BlackBerry, I think, just shot themselves in the foot.
Okay. You're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network. We'll be back with more and another brand new News Tips Bulletin from Marty Winston. Stay with us.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 120,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, Cover America Auto Care has announced revolutionary, inexpensive mechanical breakdown coverage that is now available to the general public to save consumers thousands on auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for drivers to call who own a vehicle that is less than 10 years old for a free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number is 800-483-2514. Drivers who are covered with this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair again. This is the auto coverage now sweeping across America at a fraction of what dealerships charge and is now available to the public by calling today. The number to call is 800-483-2514. 800-483-2514. That's 800-483-2514.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-866-663-MyTV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MyTV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV.
Greetings. This is Marty Winston for Computer America with a News Tips Bulletin review of the ASIO Backlit BT tablet keyboard. When we travel, it's sometimes tedious to have to use our tablet's on-screen keyboard to do any kind of text entry. So we like carrying a Bluetooth keyboard. The Bluetooth 3 ASIO Backlit tablet keyboard is about 2 inches narrower than others we tested. It puts a blue backlight behind big etched key legends and has a short but crisp travel for good tactile feedback when typing. Its 850 milliamp lithium-ion battery charges through a micro USB port, and it's rated for 10 hours of runtime per charge. It defaults to iOS mode, but we can forgive it because it switches easily to Android or Windows mode. Bottom line, the ASIO Backlit Bluetooth 3 tablet keyboard adds compact to capable. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Thank you, Marty Winston, for that. I like that one too.
Yeah.
Kind of ties into what we're talking about right now too.
Yeah, the BlackBerry phone and why you think it's not going to make it.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
We're talking about the death of phones. Again, I remember having a StarTAC phone. I saw the big Motorola brick phones. My friend had one. It didn't appeal to me, and then I had one of the first flip phones that came out, and then later on I got the little StarTAC phone that's like in the picture, and I found that.
Did you have to pull the antenna out when you used it?
Yes, it had a little antenna. You'd pull it out, and then a later model didn't require to pull the antenna out. The first, you did have to pull the later model. You didn't require it. It was like a little nub that would be there, but you didn't have to pull it out. And that was nice. It had a little LED, still had LED screws, and it was a CDMA phone at the time. And having grown up with all those phones and watching them change, certainly. And then, of course, when the iPhone came out, everybody lusted over that, and that was the end of that. And I said that, that and I had to have that at that point. But yeah,
So yeah, as we're talking about the death of phones here, this is again a Time article, and we kind of left off where the author thinks that Benedict Evans summed up his thinking on a very poignant tweet, and he tweets this graph about how the mobile eating the consumer electronics industry, and it shows that mobile phones are just taking smartphones are taking over where mobile phones are not, and even then things like mobile PCs are still very much holding strong. So that's why. And again, the whole point of this article, the death of phones isn't the death of smartphones, it's the death of mobile phones, which is your basic, non-smartphone, dumb phone, what have you. And, they expect, sorry, right now they control about 2% of the market, whereas, just 3 years ago they had almost 10% of the market. So they're expecting 1% of the market next. So those are definitely being phased out, especially since smartphones are affordable to pretty much everyone. I mean, no one really takes a smartphone as a status symbol anymore. It's just something that you have. And but yeah, smartphones are growing. But why I think that BlackBerry is shooting themselves in the foot is that they are designing their phone around doing work. Which makes sense because BlackBerries always had the the not the blue collar, the white collar worker, the office person that needed to work on the go, that's where they shined. But unfortunately, they're designing their phone, to be more square shaped. The keyboard's still there, even though in this day and age, almost every other phone has an electronic keyboard. But they're keeping, they're sticking to their guns. But people aren't really doing work on their smartphones. They have mobile PCs for that. They have tablets. And then tablets are going to grow. Mobile PCs are holding strong. They have other things to use besides a smartphone if you wanted to process a Word document or send an email or anything like that. Smartphones aren't the primary aren't the primary device for that anymore. Smartphones are, as this article was saying before, it was your TV, it was your newspaper, it's all these things. It's your game console, but it's not for work anymore, really. Especially the business professionals that I think BlackBerry is trying to really target. It's just the ones that they're trying to target are definitely going to have a tablet to do that kind of thing. They're definitely going to have maybe even a full-fledged laptop that they're going to carry around with them everywhere and do their work that way. So for BlackBerry to kind of redesign the smartphone to work around one niche consumer, that I think is just going to flop like everything else has for BlackBerry in the last 4 to 6 years.
So you don't think BlackBerry is going to make it with this item?
BlackBerry Research in Motion, they have so many patents that they can stay afloat for a long time. It's just they need to come out with a product that gets them back in the market.
And you don't think this is it? You don't think
no.
Okay.
Because I mean, nowadays it's iPhone or Android, and even to a lesser extent, people still mutter, "And what about Windows phones?" But no one ever says, "And BlackBerry." You know what I mean? BlackBerry just isn't in the consumer mind anymore.
No, it isn't.
So I don't think a phone that's targeted towards people who don't even need phones for that purpose anymore. I don't think that's going to get them out of this hole.
Okay. You think they'll go back to they'll use a tablet or something?
I mean, the ones that would probably be attracted to the BlackBerry phone, yeah. I mean, these people would have laptops that they carry around for work purposes, or they'd have tablets,
or phablets, maybe,
or phablets. I mean, this thing isn't. It could be considered a phablet, but I still don't think it's big enough. It's marginally bigger than the iPhone 5S, but I mean, I don't think it's going to be the device to save BlackBerry.
Okay, I kind of like the way it looked.
Boxy.
I think it kind of looks kind of neat. All right, well.
All right, well then you go trade your phone in for that.
No, we'll wait and see what happens.
Okay, I'm sure.
All right. Okay. I know you. Have you ever watched any of the Iron Man movies? Because there's been 3 of them now.
Wait,
No?
say again?
Have you ever watched any of the Iron Man movies?
I've seen 1 and I've seen 2. I have not seen 3.
3 was the best yet, but it was really good. You should it's on HBO, so you can watch it.
Really?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
Well, evidently, the United States is getting Hollywood's help building a real Iron Man battle suit. Now, the U.S. hasn't had much success building mechanized battle suits that move quickly and stop bullets, but Hollywood has been dreaming up these concepts for years, right? Don't they already know a thing or two about designing high-tech armor? Apparently, the U.S. military thinks they have. And it's enlisting the help of Legacy Effects, which has built suits for Iron Man and RoboCop to shape its Talos, that's Technical Assault Light Operator Suit project, the Talos project. The company is both designing and 3D printing prototype pieces that will give a feel for what the armor is like in the real world. See, that's the one thing about Hollywood. They can do all this great stuff, and they don't have to worry about physics, and it just looks so cool and it does all this great stuff. But in the real world, it kind of brings everything to a grinding halt. Of course, the result won't be anywhere near as slick as what Alex Murphy or Tony Stark wears in the movies. Yeah, Legacy Effects is bound by the limitations of modern technology and physics, which will likely make this early suit very clunky. Think of the makeshift suit near the start of the original Iron Man. Remember that? Well, you saw that. Very bulky. Esco Bionics is hoping to develop a powered exoskeleton, but it could be both heavy, around 400 pounds, and power hungry. It may end up using a drone engine for power rather than an array of batteries. And the Canadian firm, Mawashi Protective Clothing, is developing an unpowered substitute inspired by the natural protection of armadillos and insects. The U.S. doesn't expect a fully functioning independent suit until the July of 2018, and that's assuming there are no big setbacks. However, it believes that the time and expense, an estimated $80 million, will be worth the effort. Soldiers only have so much protection with current armor, and they frequently shoulder heavy loads that slow them down. Talos may never have sci-fi features like flight or repulsor weapons, but it could both save lives and help troops get around war zones with more agility than a vehicle allows. I don't know.
Have you seen the other one that comes from the U.S. Army? It looks kind of like a mule. If a mule didn't have a head, but it's like a robotic carrying.
No, I haven't seen that
device thing. This thing is so creepy how it walks. And they show it in a lab setting, and they have it just kind of walking on a treadmill, just walking naturally. Mm-hmm. And then one of the researchers comes over and takes his foot and kind of kicks it, off to the side, and it stumbles, and then it gets back up. I mean, its walking motion is very animal-like.
Yeah, no, you push the person. I've seen things like that where it'll be running or jumping, and the people push it away, but it'll correct itself just like a real person or a real animal would. You know?
And I mean, like, it had 4 legs, and this thing is designed to get over rough terrain where anything with wheels wouldn't be able to, since it has almost legs, leg and hoof kind of thing. But I mean, this scientist comes over and he kicks it in its side, and it stumbles and it corrects itself, and the entire time you're just thinking, oh, that poor robot. how could he kick it? Look at it, it stumbled. The poor little guy. But but I mean, of course, it's just a robot. Isn't that like the beginning of every robot movie gone wrong? But they're working on it.
It's the math. It's all mathematical, and the mathematical algorithms that they use for walking, because it all boils down to numbers and math, and they're able to reproduce it, and not only that, reproduce the part when you stumble, and how when you stumble or trip, you kind of try to catch yourself. There's I mean, there's a definite pattern
Oh yeah, no, it's forces and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm right though, right? Every single robot movie gone wrong, it start off with some person, some high and mighty person saying they're just robots, they can't do anything. But I mean, don't want to get into that territory. But I mean, yeah, the U.S. Army has robotics that they're working on. Be it either a weird creature animal carrying capacity, carrying thing, or even I've actually seen them, the bionic suits.
Yes.
Where people, where just average people can lift, 800-900 pounds, all because of exoskeletons.
Yep. They had an exoskeleton in it was Aliens, the movie, with Sigourney Weaver put on that exoskeleton.
Yep.
Remember that? Yeah.
Yeah, and she got into a boxing match with the aliens. So, that's fun too.
Wasn't designed for that, but she used.
Well, it's Sigourney Weaver. She do what she need.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, it's my turn to do a story, and
is it?
I think so.
I don't think so. No, yeah, you just did the Iron Man thing.
Oh, okay, go ahead. You're right.
Okay, well, if anyone here, very rarely, this is true. If anyone here has ever used Netflix,
you took my story.
Yeah, I know. It's
I have the perfect job for you.
Exactly. So Netflix is looking to pay someone to watch Netflix all day, which many of you already do. So plowing through your new favorite series on Netflix is something you probably enjoy after a working day. But what if it was your working day? And you see, Netflix has a fancy recommendation engine that suggests movies and shows that you might like based on your prior viewing habits. To do that successfully, it needs information from a special group of humans that goes beyond the basic like genre and user ratings. Taggers, as they're known, analyze Netflix content and feed the recommendation engine with more specific descriptions if, for example, a film is set in a space or cult classic. In short, these people get paid to watch TV all day, and Netflix is currently hiring a new tagger in the UK. Not the U.S. Sorry, folks. There's obviously a little more to the job than binge watching House of Cards, but with perks like working from home, flexible hours, and free Netflix subscription, you'd be mad not to throw your hat in the ring. So, so if you're a person who likes Netflix and in the UK and/or Ireland, I mean, yeah, it could be the dream job.
We have the job for you, exactly. Yeah.
No matter how good technology gets currently, you always need a human behind it.
You think so?
Which is exactly what Netflix is doing.
All right, now here's the devices from Popular Science. What is the one problem associated with tracking devices? The one problem associated with all tracking devices that are up to date. What is it?
I don't know.
The battery wears out.
No.
I mean, the battery only lasts for so long, and then that's it. It goes bye-bye. Well, evidently, they're developing an electronic tag that you can activate with a phone call, and the tag actually powers itself by harvesting cell phone signals. Now, is that cool? Now,
does that mean people aren't going to be able to use their cell phones because they're all being gobbled up by this thing?
Could be. Well, evidently, this is a thin little electronic tag, and when you call it, the call activates the tag's display, which then shows some graphics. And the tag's makers thinks that it's the first all-printed electronic label that's able to communicate directly with a cell phone. Several research groups are working on making electronic tags like this. Researchers hope that in the future, tags equipped with sensors would send data about what they sense to the cloud. For now, however, electronic tags like this are still in the earliest stage of development. This new tag, developed by researchers in Sweden and the UK, doesn't do much more than turn on. It's slow to respond, it takes about 10 seconds, and it practically needs to touch a cell phone to do just that. Still, the tag has a couple of impressive features. It's durable, lasts for more than 2 years. The researchers reported in a paper published today. In addition, while it's always a challenge to power small electronics with equally small batteries, this tag has a unique solution for that problem. The tag actually captures a portion of nearby cell phone signals and powers its display with that signal. Could you see something like this in cell phones of the future? You know, that you wouldn't have to charge them all the time. They would actually get their power from the air.
No.
What? Yeah?
No.
Yeah. You don't think it could happen?
No.
Why not?
Because the tracking device is much.
Well, yeah, it's true, but I think they could still eventually, you know, because cell phones don't use that much current right now, power.
Oh yeah, they do. Oh, smartphones definitely do. I mean, they're little computers in your hands.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this little tag is made of plastic with a printed aluminum foil antenna and a special diode that the UK-Swedish researchers developed. The antenna picks up standard global system for mobile signal cell phone produced when they make a call. The diode converts that signal to DC voltage. The voltage then goes to an experimental display called an electrochromatic display. It requires little power. The lab that made the tag pioneered electrochromatic displays as well. And there we go. Maybe it's a glimpse of the future to come. Electronic tag, yeah, that activates us with the power of the cell phone signal.
Sounds like the perfect thing for the NSA.
Well, yeah, or anything that.
Or anyone trying to track anyone. I mean, you know, new sources of energy are always good. Never going to turn that down.
No.
So,
okay.
Good on them. Okay, I found the story. I have to do it. It's amazing. I love it. I love the story. Yes, we do a lot of Kickstarter here on the show nowadays because Kickstarter has so many great, funky ideas that are actually getting sponsored. And tonight, this is another story about a Kickstarter that was funded. And this article from Tech Hive says that you say potato, I say crowdfunding. Man turns Kickstarter to fund his salad.
Potato
salad?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, his potato salad. So for most entrepreneurs, getting more than 900 times the amount of money you were seeking for a Kickstarter project would mean a ticket to Easy Street. You're faced on the cover magazines and the start of an inevitable march to riches and success. For Zach Danger Brown, it means potato salad. Lots and lots of potato salad. So the Columbus, Ohio man felt a hunger to create something over the long 4th of July weekend, specifically a hunger to create potato salad. That was just one problem. While Brown had enjoyed his share of potato salad over the years, he had never actually made the side dish. And as any home cook will tell you, the potato salad is not as fraught with peril. Do you make it creamy or with a vinegar dressing? Do you throw in bacon? What kind of herb situations are we talking about here? Brown could take the coward's way out, opting to make a macaroni salad. Instead, he turned to the place that supported many a maker in their time of need, Kickstarter. And he says that I'm a risk-adverse guy, and I think that's why crowdfunding exists. So last week, Brown launched his Kickstarter campaign to fund the potato salad he planned to make. Yes, he started Kickstarter to make potato salad. So his target goal of raising $10 seemed ambitious given the risks involved. I'm not that good at making potato salad. This is my first time. But the market responded. Out of this writing of this article, people have pledged over $9,550 to Brown's Kickstarter. There are still 25 days left to raise funds. So crowdfunding mitigated his risk. So who's to say people have helped Brown blow past his crowdfunding goal? Perhaps that's because perhaps it's the rewards promised to backers, which include having Brown say your name out loud as he makes a potato salad if you pledge just $1 to receive a potato salad themed haiku if you start throwing $20 bills around. Perhaps it's the promise of pizza party that Brown pledges to throw at the $75 stretch goal. There will be no potato salad served at the pizza party. And perhaps potato salad is more popular than any of us prefer coleslaw ever realized. So, getting over to this crowdfunder, as of this writing, which he wrote earlier today around noon today, right now it's up to $31,000.
Wow! Oh my God!
Yes, and just to give you an idea, if you pledge again $1, he'll say your name while he's making it. If you pledge $2, you will receive a photo of him making the potato salad and a thank you on his website. Go all the way up to the deluxe package, which would choose a potato salad appropriate ingredient to add to the potato salad. He has platinum level potato madness. $20, $35. His most expensive one is $50, and that's Potato Salads of the World, where you will receive a recipe book with potato salads inspired by each country where they had a backer for this, and along with the bite of the potato salad, a photo of him thanking you, and a shout out of your name. So and of course, many of these, I think it's the $20 one. You actually get a bite of the potato salad shipped to you. Of course, you need to add $20 for outside the U.S. shipping, but he will actually send you a bite of his potato salad. And
if you give him $25 or more, you get a hat. You receive a potato salad themed hat along with a bite of the potato salad. $35. Yeah, go ahead.
No, again, you get a haiku, you get a T-shirt at $35, you get a recipe book at $40, and of course, all of this you will get a bite of the potato salad if you pledge more than $20. No, I'm sorry, if you pledge more than $3, only $3, and you get a bite of the potato salad.
$50 or more. You get Potato Salads of the World. You get a recipe book with potato salads recipes inspired by each country.
Yeah, and that's one I just read. But, he just started this 6 days ago. He's at $31,605.
Good grief.
And that is a lot of potato salad. That is $31,000 worth of potato salad that he now has to find some way to make. Kickstarter is a very strange place.
Yeah, evidently he's proved it.
You know what? This story reminds me of the one where the guy used eBay and traded a paperclip for a house.
Yeah.
Like where he traded paperclip for pens and then pens into knickknacks, and he got a house from a paperclip. This is reminding me a lot of that because it's about to hit $32,000, and again, 25 days to go. I'm going to bookmark this, and we're going to see where it ends.
He said when you go to the Kickstarter, it says potato salad by Zach Danger Brown. I'm making potato salad. That's one sentence. It's basically, I'm just making potato salad. I haven't decided what kind yet. That was it. And then the update, we did it.
Yeah, and he has here the big stretch goal where if he gets $3,000, which again he's 10 times over that now, he hasn't updated since. This thing is just blowing up. He says that his kitchen is too small. He will rent out a party hall and invite the whole internet to potato salad party. Only $10 and above will be allowed in the kitchen. The internet loves potato salad. Let's show them that potato salad loves the internet. Oh my word! That is he has a chore ahead of him.
Yeah, he does, but he might actually make a lot of money.
Yeah,
he's gonna make a lot of money.
Although with that much money, he's going to have to. It's Kickstarter. It's not a charity. It's you pay for something. Mm-hmm. So he now has to do thank yous. He now has to do shirts, hats, recipe books. Bites of potato salad. A big event. It's gonna be funny. We'll see where he takes it.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, we're pretty much out of time. Thanks to everybody for being with us here tonight on our show. Again, thanks to Kudo3D for talking about their Titan One and 3D printer. And again, thanks for being here with us. Tomorrow night, it's gonna be our Gamer Tuesday with Grayson Hamilton's gonna be here. Last month we talked about E3, and now we're going to be talking about some of the hot summer games that are out.
90 seconds.
So it's going to be our game. If you have any interest in games, boy, this is the place you want to be. 2 hours of Grayson Hamilton talking about games, and more games. And speaking of our Gamer Tuesday, it looks like we're going to have an extended Gamer Tuesday on the 29th. It looks like Raptor is going to be on the show. You know who Raptor is, right, Ben?
Actually, I just downloaded them.
Yeah, okay. They're going to be on the show on the 29th, and they're going to do unveiling something brand new.
60 seconds.
Here on the Computer America show. So we can't tell you too much about it, but on the 29th, of July, and the first hour Raptor is going to be here. But anyway, tomorrow night, Grayson Hamilton, our gamer expert, video game journalist, going to be joining myself and Ben here on the show for both hours. And hopefully you will be here with us as well. So, what have we learned today, Grasshopper?
Potato salad is apparently very, very much enjoyed by the internet at large.
Evidently. And,
yeah, another about the battery.
Yeah, keep an eye out on that battery on your motherboard. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy.
10 seconds.
We'll see you tomorrow night.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, so again, thanks to everybody on our Hangouts tonight. It was a lot of fun. And again, we'll see you tomorrow night on our Gamer Tuesday show. All right? So we'll see you then.
Yep.
All right.